Are you just getting started as a manager? If so, this video is for you. I'm going to set out 10 steps to give you the greatest possible chance of success in your new role. Hey, how's it going? This is Scruffy Leadership, a YouTube channel about management and leadership. My name's Ben, and I've been a leader and a manager in the tech industry for over 25 years. Okay, let's get on to the 10 steps. Step number 1, embrace your new role. This is really important and everything else will follow from it. If you think of yourself as, I'm still really an engineer and I'm kind of pretending to be a manager, you'll make it harder to make the shift work. This doesn't mean to say either that you have to pretend to be something you're not, or that it's all or nothing. You can be honest with yourself and your team about your own limitations, and you can find a balance between managing and individual contributor work. But the important thing is thinking of yourself as a manager and that you deserve that role. It's not an accident, it's not a mistake that's soon going to be rectified, it's your new role. Step 2, start your new relationships with clarity. You might be managing people you used to be peers with, or you might be managing people you don't know at all. Either way, you need to start off with clarity about your role and about the relationship you expect to have with them. Part of this is going to come through from your behavior. You can make your intentions clearest by acting on them. For example, although you'll be friendly, of course, with your team, you might even socialize with them, you're their manager, not their friend. Another aspect of the relationship you want is good psychological safety, and that means, step 3, encourage honesty. A psychologically safe team is one in which people feel comfortable expressing their views honestly without fear of bad consequences. This doesn't come for free, and if your team is a new one, it might take time to get there. But you can start by telling your team that you expect them to be honest with you. If they have concerns, you want to hear them. If they disagree with you, they should tell you so. They should do this in appropriate ways, of course. You don't want them to develop a habit of complaining to you loudly in the open office, but you want them to know that if they disagree with you, you will be grateful and respectful in the way you react. Step 4, find yourself a mentor. You need to find someone that has gone on a similar journey, someone that has moved from a role like your old role into management. Ideally, you want to find someone that you already know and trust, someone who you have reason to believe can give you solid advice. But if you're in a completely new environment where you don't know anyone, you can always ask around. If more than a couple of people recommend the same person, that's probably a good sign. And once you've picked your mentor, just ask them if they're happy to take that role on. Most people are happy to help in this way, but if someone is too busy or they already mentor too many people, they can just say no. Step 5, learn. Most of what you learn, you'll learn by doing, but particularly at the beginning, there's a lot of value to taking more structured ways of learning from courses, for example. If your company offers any leadership or management training, you should take it all. Some parts of it will be more helpful than others, but now is surely the best time to invest in yourself in this way. And if coaching is available, take that too. Coaching is a longer-term tool than training courses, so you shouldn't see it as just a way to get quick answers, but there are likely other ways you can get quick answers, most of which will involve colleagues of yours or people you know with leadership experience outside of your place of work. Perhaps there's a Slack channel at work for leaders. If so, join it, and don't be afraid to ask questions there. Step 6, make sure you know what your priorities are. This is important both for you, but also for your team. You want to make sure your priorities are aligned with your boss's expectations and probably those of other senior stakeholders as well. And once you know what your priorities are, you can use that to work out what your team's priorities should be, and then you can communicate them. Don't be afraid to change those priorities if circumstances change. Change is a part of life, and one of the jobs of a manager is to navigate that change. If your company makes a shift in direction, for example, or your boss gives you a change in priority, you need to work out how and when to communicate this to your team. But in general, doing it quickly and with a clear rationale is the right approach. Step 7, decide on the team culture you want. I think most leaders tend to allow culture to just develop organically, and that's not at all an unreasonable approach, but you can be more proactive about it. You might decide, for example, that in addition to your overall company's values, your team has a value of kindness, and you expect that to be apparent in the way your team engages with each other and with other teams. It doesn't have to be as explicit as this, though. It might be more about the channels you set up for communication or the social events you organize as a team. One essential feature, though, should be your availability. Everyone in your team should know how to get in touch with you, and this might be easy if you're all physically located in the same space, but can be less obvious if you work from home or you're located in multiple offices, and people should know that you will be responsive. But step 8, set up your own boundaries. New managers sometimes think their new role means they have to be always on, always available, always saying yes. In reality, your own well-being is far too important, and you need to establish sensible boundaries. This might mean setting up specific office hours, times of the day when people can bring non-urgent queries to you, and being clear about the times when you are not to be interrupted so you can focus. And it also almost certainly means being clear with everyone, including yourself, that you don't send or respond to work messages outside of regular work hours. And actually learning to say no is a really important part of being a great manager or leader. Saying yes to everything will make you feel good in the short term, but it will end up leaving you and probably your team swamped and unable to deliver against all your promises. Step 9, Delegate. This is one of the hardest skills for new leaders to learn, but it is essential. Many people find that getting good at delegating means overcoming a sense of awkwardness or even guilt. And it's also common for leaders to worry that if they don't do something themselves, the quality might not be good enough. And letting all of that go is the answer. If you give someone a task and they do a poor job at it, that probably just means that that person needs more practice at that task, or training in some cases. If you take the task and do it yourself, they're never going to learn. If you're managing people that used to be your peers, it can feel awkward when you start asking them to do things, but actually it's important as part of establishing your relationship in the right way from the beginning that you tackle this head on. It can even be a good idea to just be explicit out loud about it. Share with them that you find it awkward, but that you're not going to let that stop you from building a healthy new relationship with them. Finally, step 10, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. You don't know everything, and you aren't an expert at leading or managing, not yet. That means you're going to make mistakes. It means you'll find yourself in situations in which you don't know what to do. Probably that'll happen every day, and that's okay. It's all part of the process. It does not mean that you're not cut out for the job, and it doesn't mean that you're failing. When you make a mistake, acknowledge it, own it, learn from it, and then move on. People will respect you for that. And when you don't know what to do, ask for help. You don't want to undermine your team's trust in you, so it will make sense to mostly ask for help from other leaders, but it's absolutely okay to ask your team for help or advice occasionally as well, either individually or as a group. And in matters where someone in your team is an expert, you should definitely be asking for their view. This will be particularly true with technical matters. Part of the journey from here will involve becoming comfortable with not being the smartest or the most knowledgeable person in the room. Rather, you're the person that gets to make the tough decisions, the one who has accountability, the one with whom the buck stops. And your team will be grateful for that, so don't feel like you're letting them down when you ask for their technical advice. Okay, I've covered a lot in this video and I haven't really gone into much depth, but most of the topics I've included here are covered in more detail in other videos on my channel, so do check out some of my other videos and consider hitting the subscribe button if you want more of this kind of advice. And if you hit the like button, it helps this video be seen by other people that are also looking for advice. One area I find new managers often find hardest is navigating the line between being a friend and being a manager. If you're looking for advice on that subject, check out the video that's on screen now. And if you have ideas for topics you'd like to see covered in future videos or any thoughts on this video, please do share them in the comments below. Bye. See you soon.